Hi there, my name's Ruben Frankel and I'm the developer advocate at Matatika. Today I'll be showing you how you can run a data import that you set up in the Matatika app locally using Meltano for testing and debugging purposes. The first thing you want to do locally is install Meltano if you haven't already, and we recommend doing this inside a virtual environment. So head to your terminal, Python 3 venv, and then whatever you want to call it. I'll just call it venv in this case. Once that is installed, you can activate the virtual environment by doing dot or source venv, or the name of your virtual environment, then activate like that. And then what I also like to do here is just pip install upgrade pip and setup tools. Sometimes there's some conflicts when installing Meltano if you don't do this. I'll just update the pip version and setup tools version inside the virtual environment. Then you can go ahead and just pip install Meltano as normal. This might take a while depending on your internet speed. And you can check Meltano install correctly by doing Meltano -- version. And then you can head on back over to the Matatika app. Next, we'll want to clone the repository behind the workspace, which is a Meltano project in of itself. So head to the settings tab of the workspace, copy the repository URL field, head back to your terminal, then git clone your repository URL, and then change into the workspace directory like this. Next thing we're going to do is copy the settings to run the actual pipeline. So head back once again to the Matatika app, find your data import that you've already set up. In my case, I've set up to pull some data from Spotify to the default managed data store, which is a Postgres database. Click the drop-down arrow here, head to the environment tab, and copy this field. Essentially, this field is a .env file, which is basically for setting environment variables at runtime for processes. Head back to your terminal and then create a .env file however you like. I'm going to use Nano, the terminal editor, to create my .env file and then paste the contents of the copied field into it, like so. The next thing we're going to do is to install the plugins we need to run the pipeline with. You can inspect the Meltano YAML file to see what plugins are going to be installed when we invoke Meltano install. If you have a lot of plugins, you can install them individually by doing Meltano install plugin type and then the name of the plugin like this. But as it stands, we've only got a few here, so we'll just run Meltano install. This will also install dbt because we need to run transforms alongside. Once those have installed, we're now ready to run our pipeline. Before we run the pipeline, it's a good idea to check that the configuration for everything is correct, so we can run Meltano config tap Spotify, or whatever your plugin's name is, list, to show the configuration for the extractor, and the same thing for target, Postgres, or whatever loader you have. Postgres list, I'll show that everything is coming from the .env, which we expected. Additionally, you can run Meltano config, the extractor name, tap Spotify, test, and this will do a dummy record sync just to check it's pulling data correctly with those credentials. So the plugin configuration is valid and we're ready to go. And now finally, to run the pipeline, we invoke Meltano with Meltano ELT tap Spotify target Postgres. We're also going to run with the transform option so that we can run our dbt transformations. And we're all done. Exploring the database with dbeaver shows us that tables for the stream and the transforms have been created under the analytics schema, which is correct. And heading back to the Matatika app should reveal that our datasets now have a source of data. So they should display correctly, which they will do. And that's how you run a data import locally.